Forsaken by her own, a human hoisted the wounded Vulpine princess across perilous lands. Smoke still curled over the battlefields. Ash and shattered metal sprawled across the blackened expanse. The remnants of two armies colliding, then tearing one another apart. Amid the wreckage lay a girl who should never have been left behind. Princess Selene of the Vulpine clans pressed her clawed hand to her bleeding side, ears flicking weakly as her breaths grew shallow. The banners of her people had vanished long ago. She knew they had abandoned her, not by accident, but deliberately. A wounded leader was expendable. A broken princess, disposable. Her vision blurred as the sun sank behind jagged cliffs, shadows stretching like stalking predators. Then she heard it. Heavy boots crunching over charred soil. She tensed, baring her teeth despite her weakness. A human soldier emerged through the haze, armor dented, one arm swathed in bloodied cloth. His gaze met hers. She expected derision, maybe a final strike, but he crouched beside her instead. "You're still breathing," he murmured, voice rough with fatigue. He studied her wound, then tore another strip from his frayed tunic. "Stay still." "I don't need your help, human," Selene hissed, though her voice quavered. "Better the carrion beasts than your hands on me." "Maybe," he said softly, already wrapping her injury. "But you won't survive the night alone." She should have ripped his throat out. Yet when his arms slid beneath her, lifting her to his chest, her defiance remained only in words. Her claws pricked his shoulder, but didn't pierce. She hated how steady his heartbeat was. How unshaken he remained carrying a supposed enemy princess. The wasteland stretched endlessly. Miles of broken earth crawling with scavenger packs and feral machines abandoned by war. Every step made her wince. But the human soldier shifted his grip each time, dulling the pain. "What do they call you?" she muttered, half against his neck.
Darren.
"Darren the fool. Then carrying me will get you killed." "Maybe. But leaving you? That'd be worse." By nightfall, bitter cold swept across the land. Darren discovered the wreck of a crashed gunship. Its metal hull bent but intact enough to shelter them. He lowered her carefully, layering scraps of cloth beneath her, so she wouldn't touch bare steel. The fire he built was small, barely keeping the darkness at bay, yet it painted his face with flickering light. Selene studied him through half-lidded eyes. His features were rough, scarred by old battles, but there was a strange tenderness in the way he tended the flames. "You should hate me," she said finally. "Your kind and mine have shed rivers of blood." "I've buried friends because of my kind," Darren admitted. He examined her wound, frowning. "But right now you're just someone trying not to die. That's enough." Her ears twitched, uncertain. No one from her clan would have spoken so. Strength was survival. Weakness meant abandonment. Yet this human, her enemy, offered protection without asking for anything in return. When the wind howled outside the wreck, Selene unconsciously shifted closer. The firelight caught her amber eyes, softening their sharpness. "Darren," she whispered, "if they find us, they'll kill you first. Then I'll walk faster," he replied with a tired smile. The next day, the deadly terrain tested them. Razorback hounds prowled the horizon, glowing eyes, scenting blood. Darren tightened his hold and broke into a run, boots pounding fractured stone. The hounds pursued, snarling. Selene, though weak, lifted a hand. A faint pulse of Vulpine magic flared from her palm, scattering light that disoriented the pack. Darren didn't stop until they reached a gorge, leaping across the narrowest gap, with her pressed against him. The hound skidded at the edge, howling. His chest heaved as he set her down on the far side. Sweat drenched him, yet his arms never faltered. Selene looked at him differently, not as a fool, but as someone terrifyingly steadfast. "You should have dropped me," she breathed. "Not my style," Darren replied. Days blurred. They crossed salt flats shimmering like glass, scaled jagged ridges where vultures circled. Each night Darren found shelter. Each morning, he lifted her again without complaint. Selene's wound began to heal under his careful hands, yet her heart warred. Why had her people abandoned her so easily when this lone human bore her across impossible ground? Every step he took spoke louder than words. You matter, even if they left you. On the sixth night, beneath a fractured moon, Selene finally voiced the truth that had festered. If we reach the borderlands, Darren, I can promise safe passage. My title still holds weight with the clans. He studied her deeply, weighing her soul. I didn't carry you for promises. I carried you because no one deserves abandonment. Her throat tightened and tears slid down her cheeks. She buried her face in his chest, ears folding low. At dawn, high cliffs gave way to green valleys. Beyond lay the Vulpine lands. Selene felt strength returning. Though Darren still carried her, she realized she didn't want him to set her down. The wind smelled of home, yet something had shifted forever. She had left the battlefield broken and forsaken. Now lifted by a human's tireless arms, she had crossed not just deadly lands, but into the truth. Sometimes, enemies show what it means to be truly seen. Princess Selene vowed, as Darren's shadow stretched beside hers, never again to measure worth by the cruel rules of her people. The human who should have let her die had taught her to live. At sunrise, the high cliffs broke into green valleys, painted gold. The air smelled of wildflowers, stark against the burnt wastelands behind them. Darren slowed, exhaustion weighing heavy, yet his grip never faltered. Selene stirred, ears flicking as strength returned. For the first time in days, she felt she could walk alone, but glancing at his face, lined with fatigue but resolute, she refused to ask him to set her down. Beyond the ridge, Vulpine banners waved faintly in the distance. Her people, the ones who abandoned her. Bitterness twisted briefly, then she looked at Darren and saw what truly mattered. Those banners meant little. The man who carried her through fire, cold, and ravenous beasts meant everything. Darren, she whispered, voice breaking. You could have left me. You should have left me. He met her gaze, pale with exhaustion but unwavering. And yet here we are. Something in her heart cracked, not from weakness, but rebirth. Cast aside as worthless, she had been shown the truth. Worth is proven by loyalty, by holding on when the world says to let go. As the valley opened before them, Selene vowed silently, never again would she live by the cruel law of abandonment her kind had chosen.